This is an old style Maggot feeder. This one is more of a new modern style Maggot feeder. But by combining both of these together in one session, I'm going to show you how to catch an absolute boatload more fish. Let me show you. These two style feeders through the winter months probably catch me more fish than any of the feeder methods. The traditional one is really nice to start your peg, build your peg up. Obviously with maggots, it's not like pellets where you get a super quick response. You need to build it up as if you would on the pole. You just keep loose feeding. Eventually the fish will turn up on you. That's where that's really good. Build your peg up, catch a few, and then when you get some fish actually into your peg, switch into it's like a method feeder, but for maggots basically. This can be absolutely deadly, and the bites, well, you've never seen anything like them. You better hold on to your rod because you will lose your kit. Combining them both together is really, really effective. Not just for carp. Today we're at Silent Lakes, carp are the target, but there is a lot of skimmers and a few tension here. But maggot feeder for silverfish, I've had some amazing sessions. Recently we fished a live match where I caught 55 pound, and half of that was on a maggot feeder, but with a little twist that I'll show you again today. F1 venues, absolutely deadly. Maggot feeder for F1s is one of the best ways to catch them in the winter. When they're sat a little bit further out into the lake where you can't quite loose feed maggots, this is where these little feeders really score well. It's freezing cold today. We've got a bitterly easterly wind blowing right across us. I've tried to tuck up out the wind best I can. The fish are obviously going to be out further into the lake. The water's clear, and I expect the maggot feeder will be the way to catch a nice net full of carp. So let me show you how we're going to set these up. It's super simple. No bells and whistles with this kind of fishing. I think the way you fish them is more important. So let's quickly look at the setup before we look at bait and where we're going to fish. So let's quickly have a look at the kit then. And like I said before, it is super simple. So I've got two identical rods set up. They are both 9-foot end gauges. I love using them rods. I think they're absolutely great. We use them on the bomb video, and I'll use them today to save my maggot feeder fishing. If I was fishing out a little bit further, I'd go to the 10s, but for this, 9s are perfect. Both of them have got 3000 Aventus reels on them with 8-pound Pulse Pro reel line. So really simple. So let's have a look at the more traditional style first, if you like. So, like I said, rod, reel, and then 8-pound reel line, and the same as before on our bomb video, I've got a 3-foot 0.25 fluorocarbon hook length on there. Again, it's just like a confidence thing. You know, it's nice thick line for your feeder to run on when it's rubbing on your net. Just saves against any damage, and also the water's clear, fluorocarbon is invisible in the water. Down to there, I've just got a little snap-link swivel, and that's the feeder we're going to start on. That's just a medium size maggot feeder, but what I've done, I've cut the holes out, if you can see on there, on the sides. Like I said earlier on, it's about building the peg up, so I want to get some maggots in. The first probably 5 or 6 chucks, I'm not expecting a bite. I'm just looking to build the peg up. Put plenty of maggots in, because what you'll have is you'll have some small fish coming in eating the maggots. Also, the maggots, after they've been in there a while, they'll find their way into the silt and they'll disappear. So they're always working their way out of your peg, so you want to keep those maggots going in. So for that reason, we've gone with a slightly bigger feeder, holes cut out. And then we've got our little attachment. This is so simple. I've just got a little, that's a extra small pole elastic bead, a Guru one. And that's a medium heli swivel. And then I just simply push that bead over the swivel, and that's a lovely little connection, a little loop there. And what I've got on here, I've got 15 inches of 014 Supernatural. With a Maggot feeder, when you get some fish in your peg, what you'll find is you'll get a few, just as you're tightening up, the rod will go off the rest. So I've got a bit of a longer hook length, give myself a little bit more of a drop. I'm not expecting it, to fall through the water really slow. The feeder will pull it down, but the last 15 inches, and that Maggot will just fall nice and slow. Hopefully get the attention of a carp. The water's clear, they'll be looking for food today as well. So, fishing by sight, get you a couple more pulls. And then just to finish it off, I've just got a 16s SLWG spade end on there. Really nice, simple setup. We can change the size of a feeder through the day, but that's going to be our starting point for a couple of chucks early doors. Now for the more modern style feeder, everything's the same, like I said, 3000 reel, 9-foot rod, 8-pound reel line. I've got that 3-foot of fluorocarbon again. And the difference with this feeder is you fish it almost like a method feeder, so a nice short hook length. So I've got my 30-gram feeder on there. Again, I've just got that little quick change bead that we use on a bomb setup. So when a fish picks it up, he'll pick a feeder up, shake his head, feeder runs away, look. That's all it takes. So that's our little setup there. And then all I've got there is 5 inches of 018 Supernatural on there. Because like I said earlier on, the bites on this, when you get, well, we'll see hopefully on the tip cam, it'll be dragging the rod off the rest. So I just want a little bit more security. So we've got an 018 on that one. A 16s SLWG again, but this time eyed. I really like, when I'm fishing short hook lengths, that sort of eyed hook like that, just find it catches in their mouth a lot quicker. I always fish eyed on a method feeder, so why wouldn't I with like a method Maggot feeder? It's almost exactly the same, isn't it? So that's the setups. Very, very simple. Now let's have a look at the bait. Maggot feeder fishing, it says it all in the name, but there's a few little tweaks I do with my bait to get a couple of extra pulls, so let me show you. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what bait we're going to use today. Obviously, Maggot feeder. We've got a couple of pints of red maggots left over from the weekend, so they'll be fine. You won't need a lot because there's only so many you can put in a Maggot feeder at a time. What I've also got is I've got a couple of fluoro pinkies there. Because the water's clear, fish will feed by sight, and like 3 or 4 pinkies on a hook can be an absolute killer hook bait just to get you a couple of extra bites. Now the last thing, something I've been doing a lot lately, especially when I want to draw a few fish into the peg if I think there's not enough pulling power on those maggots. What I've got there, I've just got some crushed expander, mixed really, really dry. And what I'll do, I'll just put my maggots in the feeder and then just pour a little bit of that dry ground bait in at the top. So when I chuck it in, obviously the feeder's be falling through the water and you'll get like a little trail of crushed expander coming off the back of it. I just think it's extra attraction, and crushed expander is an absolutely fantastic ground bait no matter what you're fishing for. So we've got a little, well, literally half a pint of that mixed up dry there. So that's the bait. Really simple. So it's going to be a case now of starting our session, but like I said, it's going to take a while to get into it. So I'll probably have a little fish, get some bait into the peg, and when stuff starts happening, we'll get the cameras rolling and show you how to get the most out of this brilliant little method. Okay, so we are ready to start the session. What I've done, I've had a couple of 3 chucks, quick chucks, sort of to start off. I'm only going to be leaving it in there sort of 3 or 4 minutes tops. So I've had 3 quick chucks, get a little bit of bait in, because like I said earlier on, with maggots, it's about building your peg up, and hopefully it'll get stronger and stronger through the day. So there's a couple of feederfuls of maggots gone in now. Both rods are clipped up at 30 metres. I've done it on the stick, so we bang on. But one little trick I've done, and I'll show you later in the session, this can be absolutely deadly, especially if the fishing is a little bit tougher. This is clipped up at 32 and 30 metres. So by using one of these later on in the session, I'm fishing a little bit further. I'll show you how to get an extra couple of pulls when you think the peg is faded away from you. But for now, let's get in there. I'm just going to start with just a double red maggot to start. I'll just top and tail them. And then fill our maggot feeder up. We're using the one with the holes cut out just to start, just because the maggots are cold. They won't really want to, work hard to get out of the feeder. So just by cutting the holes out like that, help them. It'll just encourage them out a little bit quicker. One good little tip as well before you start, just dunk your feeder in the water. That'll help just hold the maggots in, stop them coming out too quick. And then a nice little punch. We've got a nasty little crosswind there, so we're really having to punch it across that wind. That's where these feeders are nice, because they're bottom loaded. They do fly out really nice. So just sink that line. Rod on the rest. And just keep an eye now on the time. We're looking for 4 minute tops. I'm going to leave it in there to start with, and then we'll see where we are from that, because I just want to get a few maggots falling through the water. There might be an odd small fish in there eating an odd maggot. A few of those maggots will crawl into the silt and they'll be gone. So we just want to keep building our peg up. Like I said, it's going to be slow to start. It's freezing cold, easterly wind. The water's clear. But this method is such a good method for when it's like this. From October through to April, the maggot feeder is absolutely deadly. So let's sit tight for a little bit now then. Keep an eye out for signs, and then hopefully it won't be too long before we pick up into a nice fish. Oh, there we go. Now I just picked up my phone to look at the time then. Oh, it was a 4 minute bite, bang on 4 minutes. And an absolute screecher of a bite it was as well. And to be honest, we've been fishing now for 27 minutes, so it's taken a while to get one. But just by plopping that feeder in, just keeping it going in, finally, we've gone. I did have a real long liner, after about 2 minutes, I had a real slow pull, so I knew there was a fish or two there. But like I said, it's absolutely freezing today. It's that wind. I know it looks nice, blue skies and sunny, but the wind is northeast or southeast or whatever it is, and it's absolutely freezing. And I think just a handful of fish today on a maggot feeder will be a really, really good result, because there is an odd person just down past us there, and they haven't had a bite yet. So we've got one nice looking comment. We've avoided the blank, that's the main thing. That's a lovely fish, that is. That was just on 2 pinkies and a maggot. There he is, look. Like a block of ice. Hooked lovely right in the corner of the mouth. Now I'm going to show you a little trick that I done just then, after I had that liner. So let's pop him back. And I just want to quickly show you what I done there. Now, because we're fishing quite a long hook length, and we've all seen these underwater videos of how close the hook length lands to the feeder. So because I've got 15-inch of hook length there, I don't want all that line spare that the fish can sort of pick your hook bait up, swim around, and you don't get a registration of a bite. So after it's been in there for probably, I don't know, call it a minute or so, if I haven't had one as that maggot's just dropping through, what I'm going to do then is straighten everything out. So let's just fill this feeder again. I'll just 3/4 fill it this time, because bites aren't exactly one a bun, yeah? So let's just dunk our feeder again. Line up with the marker. Nice punch. There we are, so we're in. So I'll just sink that line down. Like that. Get it all down. So I'll just give that a couple of seconds now, just for demonstration purposes. I'm just going to let that sit there for a little bit, just whilst we're talking here. And what I'm going to do now, and this is how I got that last bite, because I'd had a line, I knew there was a fish there. So you can imagine now on the bottom, that hook length is just all around your feeder. Your hook bit's probably that far away from your feeder. So what I want to do, I want to get everything straight. So when one picks it up, he's on the way to the feeder. So I'm just going to, on my rod here, I'm just going to pull that back, sort of 15 inches or so. Just drag the feeder along the bottom, straighten my hook length out. And now I'm direct onto my feeder, and then I'll have 15 inches of hook length just past that, should all be in a straight line. So when one picks it up, pulls his head to one way, the tip's round. So let's sit tight again, see if we can get another, because it's turning into a tough old day at the minute. I know, that's just gone all slack. Yeah, here we go. That's another one. When I chuck without a fish, chuck back in, and that's just all gone completely slack there. And we got another one on. Now we might have a bit of background noise here because the boys are taking the scaffolding down over there by the look of it, on the new wedding venue they're building here. So we'll have a bit of banging for a little bit, but hopefully they won't be too long. Oh, nice common again, look. There you are, two fish and 3 chucks there. That's a mega good sign. And that wasn't in there too long either. It's a lovely hook hold there again, look. I'm at 16's SLWG there. Let's pop him back. So what I want to try now, we've had 2 just on the normal maggot feeder, but what I want to try is just a little bit of that crushed expander. So I'm going to go 2 maggots on the hook this time. So there's your hook bait. It's absolutely freezing, I can barely feel my hands. And what I'm going to do is part fill with maggots, probably up to about halfway, and then just a little dusting of that dry crush on top. I swear that was on that first pull then. Let's just pull that straight. I think one just got away with it there then. I thought we were away for the 3rd time then. Just that little bit of ground bait. Oh, there we go. There we are. I thought we were away the first time, but that's the thing with that slightly longer hook length, but I just straightened it out there now. We get into our 3rd fish, just that little bit of ground bait. That's a skimmer and a carp and 2 chucks on that. It's fishing that tough that the boys opposite me have packed up and gone already. So it just goes to show how hard the fishing is, but we're still having a few bites on this maggot feeder. Such a good method when the water's cold and clear like this. Oh, pulled out of him. Right, that was a nice fish too, that was. That was a nice fish. Never mind, at least we've had the bite. Let's pop another hook length on and chuck it back in there. Here we go. Now I've been fishing for a little bit and I've been getting mithered by those little skimmers. So I've decided to put that the multi-maggot, the method feeder maggot feeder on, if I can get my words out. And I've chucked it in, not really expecting it to muller off the rest, and it's been in there for 2.5 minutes. And it's literally just gone straight round. I can't really believe it because I've been fishing away on that other feeder, and honestly, it feels like I wasn't going to catch another carp. And there you are, look, I've just chucked that in. And it's just gone straight round. I can't believe that. There she is, look. Oh. That line's just wrapped on that feeder there. I hooked in the bottom lip, a little carp, but I tell you what, that is seriously welcome today because it's fishing as hard as I've ever known it, and I honestly think there wouldn't be many other methods today that would catch you a couple of fish. I've never known this place to fish as hard as this. That's how we've had 3 and lost 1, but honestly, absolutely granite hard. So, with the multi-maggot feeder, it's just got like a little lid like that, just flap him over, and then just pour your maggots in and shake them up to the back, and then just, there's a few getting trapped there, but that's okay. Now I haven't bored the holes out on this one yet, so he's just like that at the minute. So it's going to be a bit of a slower release, but I can always just widen those holes if I need to. And that's gone in nice there. I honestly can't believe how quick that response was on there. So let's just make sure we weren't fluking it and try for another. But what's nice at the minute is every time we've sort of tried something different, we've caught a couple. We started off on the normal maggot feeder, caught 2. Then we put a little bit of ground bait in, caught a skimmer, and had that carp that just pinged off here. Oh, look, there's a liner again. On the first chuck, we've had a couple more chucks with the ground bait. It hasn't really happened. Just a couple more little fish, little nuisance skimmers like that big. Chuck that multi-maggot feeder on. And first chuck has gone around off the rest. So every time we've changed something, it's worked, which is really, really good. Just goes to show you, like, it's not just little sign again. Not just a case of just chucking it in the same old setup and thinking it's going to happen for you. Especially on hard days like today, you're messing about trying to catch an odd fish here and an odd fish there. It's just about catching those extra couple of fish. We could have easily just carried on the maggot feeder, just a straight maggot feeder, caught 2, but we've changed a couple of things and we've managed to catch a couple of extra fish. But the session's not over yet. I'm hoping we're going to keep catching a few more now. So let's settle into this cast. And I'll give it a little bit longer. I'm going to give these 6-minute casts just because it'll take a little bit longer for those maggots to come out of the feeder. So let's just see if we can put something together here now. There we go. That's round again on that maggot feeder. Unbelievable the difference just in the setup. I can't believe that really. Been fishing away there and you've sworn there's not even a carp in your peg. Just by changing the setup, different feeder, short little hook length. And this feeder, don't get me wrong, it ain't going in with a little plop like that other feeder. It's going in, it's 30 grams, it's going in with a bang. But it don't seem to matter because it's gone round twice. That feels like a nice one. I've had to put my hood up now, 2 hoods in fact. It's that cold, I can't stick any more of that wind biting across. So I've pushed out and put the hoods up. Nice fish, look. I reckon we've done really well to catch a handful of carp today. Here we go. Nice looking fish there. Keep still now, Ent. He's got a funny eye on him, that one. He's got a golden eye on one side. He's stuck in my net, look. Come on, off you come. There we go, there he is. Lovely looking carp there. And I'm quite happy at the minute. Like, that was quite a quick bite, so I'm happy with how quick these maggots are releasing out the feeder. So I'll just keep it as it is for now. There she is. Oop. He's round again. Oh, this is the feeder, is the dawn at the minute. Can't believe the difference. Absolutely mad. But that's where having those two setups comes into play. Like a tough little start, but we did manage to winkle a few fish out on that old traditional feeder. But since we've gone on this newer version, it has been literally night and day difference. Feels like a nice fish plodding away there. Oh yes. Oh, come here, old son. Come on in. Yes. That's a proper one, that is. Look at that. Now that's what you call a dandy. And proof how good the multi-maggot feeder is. Absolutely nailed him. Now remember that little trick I told you about at the start of the video? That can get you an extra odd couple of bites? Well, I'm going to try that now. So what I've done, taken the clip off from 30 metres, so I'm fishing at 32 metres now. I've just clipped the bomb on. The plan is now just to fish off the back of the feed. I don't want to put any bait in there. I just want my hook bait just to be like that far past that main volume of feed I put in. What you'll find when it's as cold and as hard as this, often there'll be an odd fish hanging right off the back of your feed. So I'm going to put 3 maggots on and plop this out just past. Often when it's gone as hard as what it is now, after we've had a nice run on that multi-maggot feeder, but they've had a couple of chucks now with no bites, and often this is a way you can just catch that extra 1 or 2 fish to end the session. So let's get it out there, plop it in, and see if there's any fish just hanging off the back of that, all those maggots we've put in. This can be a brilliant way of catching an odd extra couple of fish, especially on this time of the year now when the fishing's a bit tougher. It's a bit colder. Let's see if we can get dragged in on this. Oh, look at that pull. Well, that one will be on. And that was on that little bomb, just chucking past our feed. And that feels like that's going to be a decent fish. And what I'm definitely going to do now is end on this, because I literally have had to grind it out to stay here today. It's been as cold as I've been for a hell of a long time. But the methods have definitely worked. We had those couple of fish early doors on the traditional on the maggot feeder. Then we had that 1 or 2 by putting a little bit of ground bait in with it, a little bit more traction. And then we finished up on that multi-maggot feeder where we had a little golden run on that, 5 or 6 nice fish. And then we've just chucked this bomb in just past, 2 metres past our feed. And that's gone round after being in there for probably 7 or 8 minutes. Oh yeah, and a lovely looking fish too. So even though it's been a rock hard day, there he is. Yes, we've managed a nice net full of carp. And look at this beauty to finish. And there he is, look. Oh no. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get it growing here. And I'm absolutely chuffed to end on a fish like that.